All right, let's jump right in. The source for this explainer is this really fascinating and unusual document. Think of it as a catalog of things that are, well, they're teetering right on the very edge of existing. It's a journey into a place that feels totally bizarre and, at the same time, deeply familiar.
And I mean, right from the get-go, the title page hits you with this incredible hook. A catalog of things that almost exist. It just begs the question, right? How can something almost exist? That's the rabbit hole we're going down today. So, this place has a name. The source calls it the adjacent, and its definition is simple but kind of mind-bending. It's the space between what is and what almost is. You know, like the gap between the colors we can see and the colors that are totally real but are just outside our range? Or maybe even more relatable, those feelings we've all had, but there's just no word for them.
Okay, so let's step inside. Why are we so drawn to this stuff? The whole argument here is that the things that really get under our skin, they aren't the things that are totally impossible. It's the near misses, the stuff that got so close to being real, but for whatever reason, just fell short.
And this is where we get a really important distinction. You have your hard impossibilities, right? Like a square circle. It's clean, it can't exist, nobody loses sleep over it. But then you have an adjacent impossibility, like a color that exists in nature, but our eyes just can't pick it up. Now that is different. That's what haunts you, because it could have been part of our reality.
This quote just nails the feeling perfectly. You're not grieving something that was never on the table. It's more like you're standing right next to a door. You can practically feel the draft from the other side. You can hear muffled sounds. It's almost open, but you just can't push it the rest of the way. It's that closeness that's so maddening, so tantalizing.
Okay, so this might all sound a little abstract. Let's bring it down to earth with something we can all relate to. Let's talk about our senses. I want to ask you a really simple question. What do you see when there's nothing to see?
And I mean, really think about it. I'm not talking about just a dark room with some light leaking under the door. I mean perfect, total, couldn't be darker darkness. No photons hitting your retina at all. What color does your brain actually serve up?
Now, I bet most of you, myself included, would say black. But it turns out that's not quite right. According to neuroscience, you're not actually seeing the absence of something. You're seeing something your own mind is creating from scratch.
And this color, this phantom color, it actually has a name. It's called Eigengrau. It's German for intrinsic gray. It's basically the visual static your brain makes when it's getting zero input. It's not a color out there in the world. It's the color of your own visual system just idling, a color of the self.
All right, so from the sensory world, let's pivot to our inner world, to our emotions. Because this adjacent territory is full of feelings we've all experienced, but our language just hasn't caught up with them yet.
Okay, picture this. I'm sure you've been here. It's a perfect day. I mean, perfect. The sky is that impossible blue, the air feels just right, everything is beautiful. And then, out of nowhere, right in the middle of all that beauty, you feel this little pang of grief? It's so weird, right? What could you possibly be grieving in a moment like that?
And the source just absolutely nails it. The grief isn't about something else that's wrong in your life. The grief is of the beautiful day. It's this sudden, sharp realization that this exact moment, in all its perfection, is temporary, that experiencing it is also the beginning of losing it.
But here's the twist. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's reframed here as a kind of deep awareness. It's not just sadness, it's a moment of incredible clarity. It's your brain basically admitting a fundamental truth. Beauty and loss are two sides of the same coin. You can't have one without the other.
So, let's explore another one of these unnamed feelings. This one's about that quiet, private satisfaction you get when you do something really well, even though you know for a fact nobody is ever going to notice.
And there's a proposed name for it, velatura. It's that feeling of satisfaction when you hold yourself to a high standard, not because you'll get credit, but just for you. It's this internal commitment to quality, a love for the craft that's totally separate from any applause.
And the examples, oh, they make it so clear, don't they? It's that perfectly smooth inside of a drawer no one else will ever touch. Or for you coders out there, that beautifully written comment in your code that explains everything perfectly. It's the care you take on the reverse side of an embroidery. It's all about doing it right for the sake of doing it right. Okay, so we've looked at colors our eyes invent and feelings without names, things that almost exist.
But now, the whole thing pivots and comes back to us with this really powerful idea. It turns out this isn't just about spotting things in the adjacent territory. It's about realizing what our job is.
And this idea is just, wow. We're not just tourists looking at these near misses. The argument is that we are the way the almost gets to become actual. We're not standing at the door, we are the door.
Because this place, the adjacent, it's not some far-off land. It's right here, inside us. It's all the unrealized potential we carry around. It's that feeling you've had 1,000 times but could never pin down with a word. It's the brilliant idea that fades before you can write it down. We're full of these possibilities.
So what do we do with this? Well, it basically gives us a mission, a 3-step process. Step 1, pay attention. Really notice those weird little feelings at the edge of your consciousness. Step 2, name it. Be precise. Try to give it an address, a home in language. And when you do that, you're doing step 3. You're helping it cross over. You're bringing the almost into the actual.
And that's where we'll leave it. Because this source material, it's not just a collection of interesting ideas. It's really an invitation for you to start your own collection. It hands the whole thing over to you with one last question, turning this from an explanator into a personal quest. What have you found in that territory of the almost? What's out there, on the edge of your own experience, just waiting for you to give it a name?